Hey, if you've watched many of my videos, you've heard guilt and shame come out in what I'm talking about. It's something that I see in more people than I ever thought. I thought I was the only one that struggled with guilt and shame, and that has to do with your self worth and it carries over from your experiences that you've had, your struggles, and sometimes it comes from what other people say. It's a struggle in your relationship with maybe your spouse is putting you down and beating up on you. Maybe it's your family members. And you know, okay, you there's probably a lot of things that you did that weren't right, that were bad, and they didn't turn out well. Maybe you had a good intentions and you failed and it hurt people and you struggle with that. Now, working with people in recovery, I see this all the time. And it's there's all kinds of material on how you can increase your self-worth, how you can build your self-esteem, and they give you the rah-rah, and you're just supposed to all of a sudden buy into the fact that you're worth it, the affirmations and so on with that. But the one thing that I've noticed is that when I'm working with men going through the recovery programs, that inevitably, as they get better, as they start to turn the point and they humble themselves, the pride drops in the misery, that it comes out that there's still that hidden part that they don't feel valuable, that they feel like they're falling short and they don't deserve to have another chance. You've heard it in my story, just like on the last video where I talked about I never thought I was going to get into heaven. That was a self-worth thing because I didn't even consider the possibility that I could make a difference in my life and that there could be a path to making that happen. So it kept me from taking action. It kept me from doing the things that I needed to do that were doable, that I could overcome. That's tripped me up so many times in my life. It's in business. I failed when I could have potentially recovered because I thought there wasn't a way out. I thought I didn't have a choice. And it just buried me because I had so much guilt and shame that I couldn't fix things. And that's been so many times in my life. It happens in relationships, it's happened in business, it's happened in schoolwork, it's happened in friendships. It just comes all over the place, and it stacks up. It piles on and overwhelms you. And those are demons that are working hard at you to bury you, to keep you down, to keep you believing that you're not worth it. But the challenge is I can let you know how I felt. I can let you know what I do with the guys that I work with in recovery, but an affirmation in this case I don't think is going to work to help you to overcome. It might for the moment, but truly you need somebody that's there for you, a sponsor, an accountability partner, somebody that isn't going to knock you down. They're going to give you grace when you confess your issues, and then they'll help to recognize that you are worth it. You can make progress. That you can do the things that you think you don't deserve to have and do. And everybody deserves a second chance, a third chance. And so if you're a Christian, it doesn't matter how many chances you get. You keep on giving a chance to somebody who is making an effort to make a difference in their own life and others. You help them to move forward. You help them to find the right path. And even if you're not Christian, you still need somebody that can be your accountability partner or be a mentor, sponsor that will recognize that shame and guilt, because it's kind of hard to see as you make progress on improving your life and on improving the situations in your life. But there comes a time when you need some help to see how you have progressed. Somebody that can recognize your improvement along the way. And I think very few people are capable of doing it on their own. We need to be in community with this. And community is being with other people that are willing to step up and help you. And if you're Christian, you need to give it to God. You need to surrender it. And you need to be in community with other people who are following in your path and your faith, so that they can be accountability partners and or a sponsor. And you need to be careful on how pick a person, not just because they're Christian, but pick a person that has recovery in their background, that has a transformation in their background, that knows what it's like to struggle with self-esteem, struggle with guilt and shame, and who has overcome it to because they're going to be the people that are on top of recognizing when you're coming to awareness of your guilt and shame, because a lot of times you don't recognize it. You bury it, but it's subconsciously there and you don't see it. And then when you start to recover, you still have that feeling of, I don't deserve this. I shouldn't get better because of what I've done. And that's not being fair to yourself. You need to forgive yourself and move on. And that person that has overcome self-esteem, the shame and guilt, when they've had to walk down that path, they will recognize that moment if they're working with you on a regular basis, if you're meeting with them. And they will help you by seeing all the progress that you're making towards living a better life and doing the right things. And you can do this. There's several ways you can do this. You can, if you can find a church that has something called Rooted, which is a really great discipleship program, and it goes through the 7 rhythms of Rooted. That's a great program to take part in. And if your church is doing that, that's a good foundation for helping you work through difficult things and to get you primed to get started. You can go for a 12-step program that is Christian based. But if you're a Christian and you're seated pretty good in your beliefs, then there is Freedom in Christ by Neil Anderson, and you can walk through that with somebody. Now, I know people who I've recommended this to, that have bought the book, the workbook, and they've gone and done it themselves. And it's important to note that you need somebody to walk through with this that has already gone down on this journey. And sometimes that can be if you go and you find somebody that's done a recovery program, somebody that's done a step study and not just read through the books, not gone to meetings such as, AA or any anybody that's had addicts that does the 12-step programs. You need to find somebody that's done a step study. And a step study is where they're going to meet with you one-on-one, and they're going to do homework. They've done the homework of going through the step study, and they have uh, made their amends, made their lists, and done all that work. And they will be working with other people as sponsors. And so those are a great place to start with that. Uh, so try that. Find somebody that can help you work through the shame and guilt by meeting with you regularly and watching you grow. And even they might be working through getting better themselves. And that can be a good thing, because if they're improving, if their life is growing, they can be an example. They can be somebody that you look at and you can see, okay, they were struggling with this situation at this point, and they overcome that and they get a win on that. And if you're there and if you witness change in other people, then that helps you to buy into, hey, this might work for me because I've witnessed these people changing their lives. They're doing better. And so I would strongly encourage you to go in that direction. And affirmations are great. Reading books that self improvement and so on. I don't knock that, but to truly move past it and conquer it, and to feel good about yourself, and to feel secure in what you're doing, it's really important that you work in community with people who are going to be supportive, and they're going to tell you the truth. And when I say supportive, I don't mean that they're going to be codependent and they're just going to be enabling. That's a bad thing. That if you got people that are just trying to give you all these feel good statements, that's not going to work. What's going to work is that where you actually work through your troubles and you have somebody that tells you the truth, and they tell you the truth in love, that there's nothing for them to gain by sharing your truth with you and helping you to see that, helping you to make the right decisions so you can move forward in your life and you can have a better life. I it's just really unfortunate that right now that everywhere I look, there is so many things that discourage people doing the right thing. That we're encouraged to do the wrong thing. We see it in politics big time right now. The idea that we're encouraged to go behind other people's backs, that's just awful. That's not something we should be doing. We should be encouraging people to be straight up. Even if we don't agree with each other, we should be encouraging people to come up and confront the truth, because then you can, if you're sharing the truth, if you're living in the truth, if you're living by doing the right thing, and when you can't do the right thing and when things are going wrong, then just own up to it. But when we have a society that's doing that, that really hinders everybody, and that puts us in that much worse of a position. So you can make a choice. You can decide, I'm not going to live like that. And I've decided I'm not going to live like that anymore. I own my mistakes. I own my situations, and I own my struggles, and I'm just straight up with it. And then I try to figure it out the best I can. You know what? A lot of things do not work out, but I don't have to worry about it because it's already addressed. And so I'm trying to do better and trying to be a better person so that I can be better for others and be a better example for others. And I've watched other people who I've worked with do the same and continue it on. And I think in society right now, that would be a really good thing for us to work towards doing the right thing, to confronting those situations that we have personally, taking care of our own house, and then be better examples for everybody else. Because this world is just not headed in the right direction at the moment, and we need to have a better way. We need to treat our spouses with respect. We need to treat our families with respect. We need to treat just everyone better. And we don't need to escalate things. And I think by when we have that guilt and shame in there, we tend to overcompensate for that, and we compensate for it in bad ways. And that causes us to just bury things, keep on digging. You're like getting further and further, and that wall is going to cave in. That wall of dirt is going to cave in on you, and you're going to be stuck. And then things don't end up well. So here's an opportunity. If you're struggling, go find somebody. Find somebody that will help you work through those struggles. Find somebody that has gone through recovery. If you have somebody with a substance abuse, you could go to like Al-Anon, which is Friends and Family of Alcoholics. If alcohol is your thing, you could go there. If watching sexually explicit things is your thing, there are places for you to go. But if you're just struggling with life issues, you can go to find a Bible-based Christian church to go to. And if you don't know where to find one, drop me a message or drop me a note, and I'll try and help you find a good place to go so that you can work through these things. And look to your friends who have turned their life around. Find somebody in your circle that has come out of a bad situation and they've turned their life around. If you can find somebody that's gone through a recovery program, that would be great. If you could find somebody that's just, really seems like they've really got it going on, go ahead and go to them and ask them how they turned their life around. I guarantee you, if they were struggling, if they were in a bad position before, and all of a sudden they seem to have turned it around and they went from being in a really bad position to having everything be really solid, chances are they struggled with shame and guilt, and they had to overcome that in the process. And so I'd like to help you out more with what I've done for me to overcome this. But I don't know you personally, to know what you're struggling with. And it really helps to have somebody that knows, that can see your struggles that you're doing in your process as you go through it, so that they can show you the good things you do, show you the things you need to work on, and help you to overcome those false realities, your fears that you're struggling with, and get on the right the right path. So I hope that I've offered you some encouragement, and I hope that the people that are watching this will be able to move forward and find a way to overcome their challenges, your challenges in your life. And so that's it. So have a blessed day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.